Welcome, everybody, to the Tipped and Stiff podcast with your hosts, Cade and
Jarod Sturridge.
I found out today that Hispanic people pronounce my name like Cade. Isn't that interesting?
What?
Yes. I told this woman, this Hispanic woman, she asked me if I spoke Spanish, and I disappointed her. I said no, and she goes, oh, that's okay. And she goes, what's your name? I said Cade, and she goes, Cade. I was like, what? And she's like, that's how you would pronounce that. So maybe she's wrong. Maybe she's not. Maybe my mother was wrong. Maybe she's wrong. But either way,
I think your mom was probably wrong.
Cade sounds cool.
Yeah.
Cade Almaraz. I like that.
Sounds like the Pitbull's Cade.
So let's redo the beginning. Let's do it again.
No, we're not. No,
just pretend.
I changed my whole name.
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody, to the Tips and Sip podcast with your host, Cade Almaraz and
Jarod Sturridge.
Jarod.
I'll go with Jarod again.
Season 2, baby. Episode 51. It's the new year. How was your New Year's? Oh my God. I know. We're so late. We took 2 weeks off on accident. We were only supposed to do 1 week off, but then someone decided to get COVID like a lazy bastard.
Sorry.
What is wrong with you?
I don't know.
And we can bleep it. You all know what disease he had. We have to fucking bleep it. I'm saying it now. Eric, bleep what I just said because they'll ban this entire podcast off the internet. A mysterious disease from an ancient world has taken over Jarod.
I barely had anything. I was sick a little bit for like a day, and I was just quarantined in Milwaukee in my girlfriend's apartment, and it was just like, I don't know, like I kept testing, and like they kept changing the rules on what testing you needed to get at my job, and like what it means to be negative and what it means to be positive kept changing within the week that I had, and it was super annoying. They keep changing the goalposts. That's right. This is a classic gaslighter, 101.
This is a progressive disease. That's why
it's a narcissistic disease.
We keep changing the lines.
Yeah.
This is like PC culture in 2016. That's what this disease is.
The real disease is cancel culture.
Well, you saw pandemic. This woman at my work was like, you can't use the nose swab anymore. It doesn't work. I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, they see if you stick it in your nose, you'll test negative. But if you put it down your throat against your fat gullet, you're going to test positive.
You said, thank you, Mr. Fauci. Thank you. I didn't,
The test positive. This disease is learning where we put the swab.
It knows.
It learns. It's evolving and learning. But, that's the thing. You are fine. Yeah, most people get it. Our producer has gotten it. Everybody we know has gotten it. I haven't gotten it because I can't. This
is true.
I am literally built different, as the kids say. I won't get it. I've made a decision at the beginning of COVID that I will never get it. And it has the universe has responded with, you're right. So it is what it is. I probably have had it. I'm probably one of those asymptomatic people, but that would also be not true. So it doesn't matter.
You're manifesting not having COVID.
Just like I'll manifest never getting cancer.
Okay.
Speaking of that, I was shaving before we came here, and I noticed 2 new marks on my face that aren't like acne or anything. They look like moles, but they're weirdly shaped.
You need to go to the hospital.
I need to go to the dermatologist.
You literally said you have another one on you that you're concerned
I have like 4
about.
on me that are considerably
You literally
concerning.
have a history of skin cancer in your family.
Yes.
And you're taking this very lightly.
I'm just not trying to freak anybody out. But now I want the listeners to feel bad for us and donate to the podcast. And buy the fucking merch. God.
We got to do better pictures for that one. It doesn't matter.
Do you want to, Bryce, do you have a...
Don't worry about it. We'll put it in the thing. Listen, it's coming up. It's coming soon. It's already out.
No, it's out.
People who want to buy it.
Yeah, it was like 15, 20 people want to buy it.
Nobody wants to buy it.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
And yeah, we had to give so many people free ones.
We did one.
We're making $5 on these shirts. Not per shirt. When we're done, when everything's said and done, we'll make $5 off the shirts.
It'll go right to my chemotherapy instantly.
You are going to poke the bear of the universe if you don't.
I've been poking it for the last 3 years.
I recently went to the doctor.
Yeah, you had some shit.
I was like borderline passing out.
Yours
at
is
work.
kind of funny.
I was like walking around and I couldn't like walk straight, and I went up to my boss in like my normal voice. I was like, I don't know which way's up, and he was like, ha ha. It's a busy day. And I said, no, I mean it. And he was like, Jesus Christ. He's like, sit down.
Sit down.
And I sat down and my friend gave me water. He's like, you okay, man? And I was like, yeah, I'm good. And I like stood up. I'm like, I'm going to throw up. And I went to the bathroom and just started dry heaving into the garbage. And then they're like, you should leave. And then somebody picked me up. And I didn't drive. I didn't drive for like 2 days. And then I went to the hospital and the doctor was like, we have no fucking clue. And I was like, awesome. They're like, if it ever happens again, you give me a call. It's like, thanks.
Yeah, I wouldn't call anybody else.
Doctors are used car salesmen, but with degrees. That's all that
and
is.
they can charge you more. They charge you more.
That's
no,
all
they
do.
want you. They want to fuck you up, so you have to come back.
Dude,
Emotionally or physically.
I got to be honest with you. Now that I'm in sales, I go to the doctor and I think a salesman loves being sold. I go there and I just listen to him. And he says, yeah, we're going to need this. We're going to need to do the benefits plan on your heart. We're going to need to do the 4-year warranty.
Yeah, the protection plan.
We're going to need to do the protection plan on your brain. Easy. We're going to need to do some tests to cover that. And maybe a little more just in case. And then you go, does insurance cover this? And he's like, fuck your mother. And just walks away. That's been every doctor's visit ever. He's just like, maybe. And he just leaves. And then you get to the office, you're like, it's going to be $300 million for a copay today. And it's like, lovely. I love living in this country. I know somebody that we played a show at their house to just moved to Ireland. They just said, fuck it. They moved to Dublin. They lived in Chicago and they went, I'm done, and just went to Dublin.
Really?
How cool is that?
That's kind of nice. I'd rather go there.
We should
be
move
nice
everybody we know to Ireland.
We should get a bunch of money off of Patreon someday
And just
like move house.
we'll move everybody.
Move everybody.
No, we'll build a
Like, put
we'll build
everybody
a
up.
commune. We'll
Yeah.
build a big house
Yeah.
so that like people are like, well, because everyone's gonna go, oh, I know you want to like live with me, but I really like want my own space sometimes. So we'll make it big enough to where everyone feels like they have their own portion of the house. So no one can hear anyone having sex, and everyone can go to the kitchen in their underwear kind of thing. No one feels uncomfortable in that kind of thing. Everybody can, take a shower whenever corner of the room they are. It's fine.
Yeah,
No
it'll
big
be
deal.
nice. It'll be
Have you
nice.
ever been in a college dorm before, Jared?
Yes, but not stay. I've stayed there once. I've stayed in one
All you
once.
hear is the banging of walls
Of bed frames on
and
walls.
stinky people walking around in their
Yeah.
towels. That's all it is. And this commune will not be that. It will have class. First of all, we'll have class in the anti-class commune. That is how this is going to work. We will accept. Well, so we'll have the main house, and then we'll have other little houses for people to live in, or little spaces. They don't even have to be houses. They can be whatever they want them to be. And there'll be a farm, and there'll be animals, and there will be people with guns.
And we'll build little tunnels underground for the servants to stay, because there's going to be staff
Obviously,
on this house, right?
They'll be,
but they will be treated well.
They'll be treated greatly.
Yeah.
They won't be paid.
They'll love to.
Because we won't be paid because it's a commune. And also we should, because if we get that successful, we shouldn't have to, because it made the space for everyone to exist in. And you have to apply, and everyone gets assigned a job. And don't be surprised when it's not like the sweater knitter, person, or the, teach about like, civil rights class or whatever. It's going to be cutting down wood, pulling weeds,
Growing potatoes and mushrooms,
or you're
and
in the
other
mines.
vegetables.
Something real. That's what's so funny. You see this on TikTok all day. It's like when the communist doesn't get assigned to like binaural beat audio mixing, and it gets assigned to the Virginia coal mines instead. Like this is what ours is going to be.
Yeah.
The people who come there will understand that. And also only hot people.
Yeah, no, I've made this rule the last 6 months or so. I surround myself only with attractive people.
That's the only rule we have. And obviously beauty is subjective, and we will keep that in mind with every application.
Yeah. But Uggo's got to go.
It's the rules. Uggo's got to go. Not a big deal. Hey, it's not that we don't care about you. It's just that these are the rules that we have provided.
Here's the thing. If you applied, you think you're hot. And if you think you're hot, you're probably hot. Because if you think you're hot, if you think you're ugly, you're ugly.
Yeah.
If you think you're hot, you must be kind of hot.
Yeah, because because we're gonna take confidence into consideration when applying.
Right.
And
An attitude. It's an aura.
Speaking of tunnels,
Sorry, what?
What did you say?
That's fine.
And personality.
That's right. You can mow over that. It's fine.
People, speaking of tunnels, did you see the video where Elon Musk has that stupid ass tunnel underneath in Vegas, and they had a traffic jam on it, and they're like, "What's going on?" And they're like, "What's happening?" And it's like the thing that happens when you put a bunch of little cars in the same place happened. They're like, well, it's all jammed up because for some other reason the south doors are closed, so everyone's going to this one. And they're like, what? How could that be happening? Because who would have thought that putting cars in a little underground space is not a new idea? It's called a tunnel. Like, someone came up with that. All he was like, we're going to put elevators and shit. Like, dude, the moment I heard that they're going to be using elevators, I'm like, that doesn't make any sense, because isn't there just going to be a big line for whoever can get in the elevator first?
Yeah.
Aren't you still going to hit traffic? Don't you need like a bajillion of these? And then he said that. Yo, look at this stupid ass video.
This looks really dumb.
Look at that. Blah.
Dude,
that's just
where I start freaking out at this point. I'm like, oh, no.
Right, because the floodwaters come in.
The aquifer just bursts.
Look at that. And they're in the video, they're
it's
just
all
like,
Teslas.
oh, I can't believe this is happening. This isn't supposed to. It's like, I saw a great video where someone was like, when we break down new technology and people who innovate technology, that we have to understand what AM and FM is. And the guy goes, AM is actual mechanics. And he goes, FM is fucking magic. And he goes, Elon Musk tunnels are fucking magic. It makes no sense. And then, dude, I didn't realize, because the guy was breaking down like the video. Elon Musk was not planning on doing just one tunnel or a bunch of tunnels going in a different direction. His plan was doing one tunnel, like a tunnel grid that goes as deep as like a 5x10 thing.
Like miles?
5x10 tunnels.
Oh.
Yeah. So having like 50 tunnels all going in one direction. So just moving traffic underground. That's what he wanted it to be. And it's like, you think about that, and it's just like, you know,
probably should happen.
There's gotta be something we're missing with that. Now, I remember him getting asked what happens when there's like an earthquake, and he explained it. He said, well, the worst place to be during a tsunami is at the top of the ocean. He said, when you're under the water in a submarine, it's the safest place to be. And he said the same thing works for earthquakes. He said being on the surface during an earthquake is bad, but when you're underneath the ground, you're actually in one of the safest spots. Whether that's true or not, when you put 50 fucking tunnels in the same... I'm just saying, didn't we find out that like fracking oil causes like earthquakes all over Oklahoma? So what's going to be happening when we put a bunch of worm tunnels underneath a major city? Like...
I just hear LA is really bad with traffic because there's just so many people, and it's built weird. Like, it's not built for...
Well, they didn't build upward, and there's no trains. It's a mess. It takes 3.5 hours to get from one side of the city to the other. It's dumb. It's traffic nonstop, and they're huge highways. It's just multiple veins of highways. But the thing that's weird about it, about these tunnels, because he's like, we should do one in Chicago. The weird thing of him saying about doing the one in Chicago is that Chicago is literally built on a marsh. And there's this whole crazy video online about how Chicago has to go through such procedures of pumping water out from buildings. And that one thing I didn't realize is that they actually reversed the flow of the Chicago River, which I didn't realize we could do. They changed the direction of an entire ass river. Instead of it flowing out, no, it flows outward. Which way does it go? Yeah, so it goes from Lake Michigan to the Mississippi River, and it used to be from the Mississippi River to the lake. They changed the fucking direct. How the fuck do you do that?
There's some symbolic weird shit.
How do you
with all
change the
that.
whole direction of a fucking river? And they did it, and they did
Yeah.
it because of like sanitation stuff, also because of like flooding. But now they're at the point where there's so much concrete that the whole city sits on a big slab of concrete, pretty much, because of the marshes underneath it, that they don't need to do that anymore. And they debate whether pushing the flow out back into Lake Michigan, but the biggest problem with that is that if they put it out into Lake Michigan, all of Chicago's waste will be going into Lake Michigan instead of to the Mississippi, to the ocean. So it really depends. Do you want to spoil a big pond or a little pond?
I think they should keep pushing it out to the ocean because when
I think they should put it back in their houses.
Well, big water house. When the coasts get fucking dried up or flooded, whichever one happens, and people move in, this is going to be the only place for water, for like fresh water in the country.
Why can't we build buildings on top of garbage? Why can't we empty the landfills and build like a big sink and just bury all the garbage under it and then put a building on top of it?
I still like the idea of just throwing the garbage into space. Because that land is not, you don't want to build on top of garbage.
This is true, but how much money would it be to put all that garbage into space? Why can't we just put our garbage in the desert? Like, there's nothing there.
Have we tried burying it or burning it?
We tried that. That is bad. But if we made like...
I think burning it could... I don't know. I mean, what was it? Just it disappears.
We just gotta
fire
burn it.
just disappears it.
We just got to burn it better.
What if we ate it?
You're going to give Bill Gates some quirky ideas and you should knock it off.
Try to get a job.
Trying to get a job. Oh my God. We had other things.
yeah.
What else did we do? We'll do with the Ghislane thing on our... Oh, fuck. We never talked about that.
No, yeah.
So people don't know, Ghislane Maxwell is the mistress of our good friend of the show, Jeffrey Epstein. Rest in peace. God bless his soul. A true American who was murdered inside a prison.
He's a hero.
By people who don't believe in free speech. The cancel culture, the PC police.
He was murdered by the
the
woke secret police, the shadow.
And his mistress went on a trial for human trafficking, and she actually got charged, which was kind of crazy. And they're trying to get her the yak now. They want her to spill the beans. What do you think about that?
With how fast it left the spotlight, which was probably 4 days, I think I counted after the verdict was given.
Right.
I think that was the plan. After I'll just be like, here's the final say on it. It's crazy. I saw a post. It was crazy. It was like Ghislane Maxwell is the first person convicted of human trafficking to have trafficked them to no one. It seems that there was no one that was being trafficked to, but she's going to jail for 60 years. So that's what's weird to me about it. And I don't know. I imagine Whitney Webb will come out with something new soon. She's coming out with her book soon. I don't know what it's called. She's pregnant.
I think she already had the child, so there's a pause on that. That's a conspiracy too.
But no, I think it was the verdict is good. Obviously, that's good. But obviously, the buck is just going to stop there because they can't, nothing has happened unless they get her to talk. And if they try to get her to talk, they'll have her kill herself.
Right.
So we're in kind of like a...
She'll be suicided.
Stymied, yeah.
And do you know why it got covered up? Because you know when it came out.
What happened after it?
January 6th. And Kamala Harris was like, this was practically 9/11.
Yeah.
This was 9/11 of our country. That was such a lame speech.
It was funny. It was really funny.
Did she say 9/11 and Pearl Harbor?
And Pearl Harbor.
Combined?
Can we get?
She got 2 generations pissed.
Can we get back to maybe making the groceries at the store like $1 cheaper?
Yeah.
Can we get back to it instead of talking about, I get his presidency was bad. Listen, I get it. It was not good. I understand that. But hey, a bunch of little rascals went to the White House. A few people died. It's not good, and we're not celebrating it, but it's not compared to
It's not 9/11.
And for some reason, I don't understand why she took 2 plane-oriented tragedies and compared them to a non-plane-oriented tragedy. It doesn't even make any fucking sense. The other
one of
was
them.
a-
They went to both of them. We went into
Went
the
to a
largest wars,
war.
the longest wars, and the biggest in history.
Two wars.
The other one, they elected a Democrat afterwards. That's
yeah,
it.
what are we talking about? This is crazy. Like, what, dude?
One was two were maybe even three were false flags, but okay, they're all false flags, but
to a degree,
to a degree,
they happen.
9/11 and January 6th more so false flags than Pearl Harbor. I don't know much like
It's
that.
not false
but
flags. It's just
just more,
there
it
was
was
various
messy.
people who made off of both tragedies.
Definitely.
And
9/11 definitely is a false flag of a sense, but it's funny that like if you look at January 6th,
What's
the president,
funny about
the
that?
president.
What's funny about people ruining one of our most what a place of sanctity. One of our more sacred places.
It was burned down like 200 years ago by people doing the same fucking thing.
And you support
yes,
fascists walking into our American democracy
listen.
and trampling on sacred tradition? You're laughing at that. Kamala Harris is a saint, sanctioned by the Pope. You racist bigot asshole.
I apologize. They put
You
black.
didn't say sorry very well.
They put. I was going into a deeper felt apology. They put black and brown lives like Ocasio-Cortez on the line.
They did.
And I wasn't thinking when I made that.
You didn't.
That chuckle.
This is about
that.
progressivism.
Yeah.
This is about senators who
Love children.
they. This is about representatives of the country.
The pedophile
No, don't
representation.
say that. They're honest Americans.
LGBTQP.
Plus.
You know what the P stands for, right? Right.
They love God. They're good God-fearing Americans, and you know what? They know how to make a dime. And I don't like hearing on this news them going at my girl boss Pelosi, talking about how she sold stocks before a pandemic or something like that, and insider trading among many senators. I think it's harassment and libel, and these people should be held to the highest court and possibly killed. So
Protect the free market.
if you're gonna, what'd you say?
To protect the free market.
If you've had enough talking smack about the greatest country in the world, led by a sweet old man who has never done anything weird with children ever. There's no photos.
No, I've never.
And he's never tripped up a sentence once in his
Never?
life.
No.
He's a perfect speaker.
He speaks perfect English, perfect Mandarin, perfect. He speaks Braille, I'm told, sign language.
He's never tripped up on anything. He's never supported any sort of
You're right.
actions against marginalized groups before.
No, he's never called them super predators once. I've never heard that word spoken.
I've never heard him compare marginalized group to white kids.
Nope.
I've never heard him. Even though he might have been he was the vice president of someone who passed gay marriage. You know that Joe Biden was supporting that in the 1960s, and
There's a picture. Have you seen this? We could find it. Of I think it's Joe Biden. It might be some other Democrat or independent. In 1960, at a college, being arrested during a protest. And he has these kooky little glasses on, and
Really?
he's a little scrawny
that is
guy.
that must have been Joe Biden.
That's Joseph R. Biden.
You know,
yeah.
I saw another picture of Joe Biden at the march with Martin Luther King.
I believe he was holding his hand. I believe he was lovingly sniffing the hair of Martin Luther King's child.
And you know what? And also our vice president, the first black woman
Yeah.
ever. She's almost president. You know what vice president means? That means number 2 in line, boss bitch.
I meant she was about to be.
Do you know who else was one of the greatest vice presidents of all time?
Who?
Dick Cheney. So Kamala Ding Dong Harris is sitting in the same spot as Dick Cheney, and you don't think that's anything to be proud of?
True, she had her 9/11 just like he did. And I'm sure she's going to take advantage of it just and make as much money off of it as he did.
We're going to find out photos like years later of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris like with the guy with the horns like 20 years later. And they're like, it was on it. We knew it.
See, there he is.
That's
Joseph,
Joe Biden.
our president.
That's our president. That's Joe Biden. If people don't understand, they never see this picture before, they should look up. If you want to look up where this picture of Joe Biden is, yeah, see right there in the red.
Oh, look, yeah.
Yeah, if you
Joe
want to
Biden.
look up this picture of Joe Biden, look up Bernie Sanders at the Martin Luther King Jr. March.
I believe he was also there as well. He's not photographed with
He's
them.
not in the photo, but this is Joe Biden.
That is Joe Biden. Yeah, so
sure.
just look up Bernie Sanders at the Martin Luther King Jr. March, and you'll find a picture of Joe Biden with a big red circle around him. So, yes. So a tragedy. And so what? So what? These people so happen to hold a high-profile court case that might involve people that hold tremendous amount of power and sway over one of the greatest countries in the world, that profit off of people, marginalized people being certain positions they are, making it a good old boys club, and ultimately pummeling America into absolute turmoil. Just because they so happen to have that case at the same time that one of the greatest presidents in our country and one of the greatest vice presidents in our country of all time were doing a speech about practically, I think worse than 9/11 in Pearl Harbor, probably on par with, the whole world on fire, probably on par with nuclear bombings, honestly, or the fire bombings in Tokyo, something like that.
The rape of Nanking, it was similar. It had a similar vibe,
right? Lots of nationalism, angry people, and I don't think you get to talk shit, and I think this is a coincidence. And personally, I'm excited to vote for both of them again. And you know what? I'm going to steal my grandparents' social security number and vote 3 times. No, it's crazy because
it's
because this is real news for people who, a lot of people I think stay out of politics, but I think a lot of people who stay out of politics still wish that they knew what is going on because they want to hear from an unbiased source. So one thing, I haven't talked to you about this, but one thing that actually is going to happen, and one thing you got to understand about this country is that the Federal Reserve is a private entity that's one of the most influential things on the entire country, probably the entire world.
Yeah.
Now, the Federal Reserve gets to dictate what interest rates are for loans. Now, a lot of you think, well, what does that really have to do with me? They don't dictate the interest rates on loans for your car loan or your home loan. They dictate the interest rates on the money that they give the government. Right. So the way that this works is the Federal Reserve prints money and they loan out the money to banks and the government. And that money has an interest rate. So when the banks and the United States government has to pay a higher interest rate, the interest rate on everything else has to go up. So let's paint a big picture here. So there's a mysterious, floaty, we could call it a disease from an ancient world going around. Nobody's going to work. Inflation is high. Prices are high, right? You can't get anything on time. The prices of lumber, drywall, metal are now increasing again. The housing market will then increase again too. Gas, right? Thank you. Just
even
the
food,
overall
groceries.
Supply shortage, right? We all know this is happening.
The Flamin' Hot Limon Cheetos have been out of the store for weeks now.
Right. There's
supply
stores,
chain issues.
There's stores in America with empty shelves. If we agree this is bad. Yeah. So let's put this in perspective. The Federal Reserve wanted to first raise the interest rates in spring. Why is spring an okay time with the Democrats? Because spring is when we're going to be doing our midterms, right? And what do the Democrats really need? A good midterm year. Because a lot of people, surprisingly, aren't really satisfied with the job the greatest, in my opinion, the greatest president in the world is doing. And the greatest vice president. They feel that maybe it's all show and that nothing's changing, that there's no canceling of student debt, prices aren't getting better.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of bills that he's doing because of Joe Manchin, the senator who has kind of a hold on the Congress, none of these bills are getting passed, right? And everyone's going to be pissed that a lot of money that they got from the government is going to be paid back on their taxes, which they forgot about. That $250 from the child kid credit is coming back. You have to pay that back. So whatever you owed in taxes, whatever you thought you were getting back in taxes this year, you're not getting back. But instead, the Federal Reserve just announced that they're changing their plan on raising interest rates in March. Now, why is that a very pivotal time for the way that the world reacts to certain things going on? Because when interest rates go higher, that means the rate to borrow money goes up. When the rate to borrow money goes up, that means people are spending less in the economy, which means people aren't taking out loans for homes, cars, or businesses. So when loan interest rates go up, people lose their jobs. So there's already a worker shortage. So what happens when those same places have to start firing more people? Well, then, as you can imagine, people get rather angry. It's bad to have a high unemployment rate in a country because usually high unemployment leads to a lot more anger and aggression. Specifically, when you have a lot of men sitting around doing nothing, they get a little silly. All right, that's historically the case.
Mm-hmm.
So now Joe Biden is upset that is going to happen because he knows that is going to affect the midterms, and the Republicans are positioning themselves to have a very good midterm election. Because as you can imagine, Donald Trump has now not been in office for 2 years, so screaming about Donald Trump has gotten boring to the majority of Americans, and that's not really the end goal anymore. It's more about how do I have food and money. So a lot of people start turning towards the new politicians coming up and running for office, taking seats, Republicans taking seats from Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
Why is this important? This is important because if the Republicans control the Congress and the Democrats fear that means they're going to have to use something else to make people scared. We know that this disease is getting a lot less worrisome. There's more vaccines now. They're making medicines for it now. There's more treatments than ever. The death rate is down. The hospitalization rate is down. Mm-hmm. The cases are through the roof, but they expect this one to go through everybody so that it ends. However, don't let a good tragedy go to waste. So if these interest rates go up, you're probably going to see a lot more money being pumped into scaring people back into their homes. There's going to be another variant, which there always was going to be, because Omicron is just another step into vaccinating everyone through getting a disease.
It's another part of
so
lockstep.
that another variant can happen so that the disease can not be a threat anymore. And when that next variant comes back and ultimately is even more infectious and more people will get it, they need everyone afraid, and they need people to think that if you vote for a Republican, that they are trying to promote chaos and murder across the country, and the Republicans are going to argue that if you vote Democrat, that you're going to promote a totalitarian state. Funny how both of them will lead to the same thing. But that's just the strategy we are going to see.
That's the situation that we've been leading to no matter what.
Right.
That's been the whole, in a sense, the plan with the merging of corporate interest and tech and the government at once. You know, that's been the entire game since they kind of realized that they are on the same team and we're not on their team.
Right. So
that we can be taken by them.
Right, but just keep that in mind when you watch the news, when you see more tidbits. Mm-hmm. When the Federal Reserve raises its interest rates, I'm calling it now that that will be the new thing about this year. The midterms are going to be a mess, It's going to be all about the Republicans and zoning and gerrymandering and racism and shit. And they're right. I'm not saying people are wrong, that they are doing that. But I'm saying that these will be the topics that we'll ultimately be really angry about, of who's doing what for COVID and who's doing what for jobs. That's going to be the two biggest things with this midterm. I'm calling it now, and I will be right. I'm manifesting.
It sounds similar to something in the year 1925 in Europe, in Germany.
Right.
Sounds like a very similar condition for the rise of a fascist leader.
Well, no, we're going to do it differently. People, they're not going to copy the book. We're not going to.
There's no way it can happen the same, because we have.
Well, boring. Boring. Could you imagine they use another guy with a funny mustache? How boring would that be? Can you at least switch it up this time? Give me with something new.
I want a girl boss.
I want a girl boss.
Girl boss Hitler. There's our title.
Girl boss Hitler. Literally. No, that people don't understand. It's going to be some tech person. They're going to be like, we can make this grand world. It's oddly enough. It's what I mentioned about what we talked about the Elon Musk thing. Mm-hmm. Politics in the future is going to be actual mechanics versus fucking magic, and we're going to have a tech girl boss who lives in the world of fucking magic but is a billionaire, and then they're going to just persuade the entire world to get the new USB in their neck, and they'll be like, this time we're using a C port, and they're like, what? Whoa. They're just like the new Apple chargers, they don't even use the little fat rectangle thing on the end. You're going to be able to plug right into your laptop, and you just kind of black out. You kind of just black out at the computer.
Tingly, you feel like you're, being born and dying at the same time. You hear your mother screaming as she's giving birth to you, and you also hear your own screams for your own mother when you die, your final moments in one. And then it just kind of merges into you, and you kind of feel your soul split and stitched to get back together at the same time. And you're kind of neither male nor female, and you kind of come a little bit, and then suddenly you're in the computer, and
you're in Minecraft.
You're inside, and suddenly Roblox boots up, and you're fucking playing Apex or whatever. Then you're in your little graphic design job for some I don't know, cleaning supply company or something.
Dude, and it's The Matrix. Then it's literally the movie The Matrix. It's literally The Matrix.
No, that is it, yeah.
That is the plan.
Everything's green, sort of the hue of a green.
Everything looks like you're in Breaking Bad. It just has that yellow tinge on everything.
It's just, that Mexican,
the same filter they use for every scene in Mexico. What are we at time?
We're 40 minutes.
Cool. Dude, this has been fun. We have 20 minutes left. You people are spoiled.
This is free.
This is fucking free, and for no good reason. It should be $25 an episode, and you should pay it. You should actually. Everyone listening should just have the expectation that it's $25 and just Venmo us. Just while we're recording, we do it every Sunday at 6:30. Just I want to hear my phone buzzing through the episode. And I'll be like, I'll read it off as we go. And we're like, oh, Ethan thank you, Ethan, $25 to the podcast. I'll put it back down. That'd be awesome.
We just send them the links.
The links.
The hyperlink.
What do you think? I was, what was it? I've been, everyone, what Five Nights at Freddy's is? My whole TikTok has been this stupid ass video game.
Yeah, my girlfriend's really into watching Markiplier play it.
Isn't that an old thing? Didn't we already do this?
No.
It's a horror.
But wasn't that a big thing on YouTube for a while?
It's back now.
Okay.
Well, it's
just like Minecraft.
It still is the same thing it's always been, which is a horror psyop for 8-year-olds to traumatize them.
Dude, my little sister can just sit through Insidious like nothing.
These kids are built wrong.
They're glitch. I'm the glitch. I'm the fucking glitch. Look at that. So this is the first one. This is what it started as, and now it's a whole 3D game now or something. I don't know. I don't play children's games.
Oh, really?
I don't play Minecraft ever. Minecraft is not for children.
You just play a Roblox mod.
It's called Unturned.
It's called Unturned, and it's free, and my computer can run it. So if you would like to stop talking mad shit, that would be appreciated. Look at the logo, everybody. If you're watching the video, the logo moves now. We got a whole new set. We didn't even mention it once because we just expect people to watch. We got a new carpet. We got curtains.
This is the old carpet that we had for the first. Yeah, we had this for the first
new
episode.
Carpet.
No.
You're ruined the illusion.
Shut up, Jared.
Yeah, please shut the fuck up. Thank you.
We scoured the place for this carpet. You know, this is like vintage.
Can we make an announcement?
What?
We'll clip this. Can we make an announcement?
Yeah.
We'll clip this. We should talk about exciting new things that are coming out because they're coming out very soon.
Mm-hmm. Music.
Should we finally reveal to the world? Season 1 should start off with what this year is going to encompass.
Yeah. Let's break it down.
More podcasts, more guests, probably a lawsuit. Let's not manifest that, but probably from the mayor for libel, but we'll see. We'll see when we get there. The building gets condemned.
He's been safe for a bit. We haven't gone after him.
He's been a little too safe. He's not running again, dude, when are we going to run?
We were kicking this around a few weeks ago. On like New Year's, I think we were talking about.
We could run for mayor.
Yeah, you and I could run. Or like I could one of us could be like the front runner, and the other person could be some sort of supporting team thing. Like
you should run against each other.
That would be interesting.
And
you guys vote.
But we talked about that though. But we said we'd split the ticket and we'd lose.
Yeah, we have to. We can't. Warren Sanders. We can't Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren. This, you know. We
gotta just fucking all balls to the wall.
You gotta choose who's gonna win, and then do like a hero and like a heel.
Oh, like a choreographed thing. Okay, exactly. So we would plan this out. One of us would drop out at a certain point. But it'd be all
we could do a fabricated.
Yeah, but here's the thing though.
Controversy or something.
Yeah.
We could have like a dick pic scandal.
But other people are gonna run. What are we gonna do?
Well, fling shit at them.
We have a platform for our voters, our voter base.
We have a huge voter base.
We have 50 people.
We have 50,000 on Patreon. We're number 1 on Patreon. We're gonna bust people into voting the Kenosha mayor election. We're gonna rig the shit out of it.
And they're just gonna set up homeless encampments downtown, and we'll clean it up.
How funny would it be if we ran for mayor and then somebody running against us actually took clips from the podcast and then made a commercial, like a hit piece?
That's what we have to. The podcast would blow up.
Dude, the podcast would blow up. And then we make a hit piece on them and it's just going, this fucking nerd doesn't even have a podcast because he's old. And we just call him old. And look at his hair's receding. We got 2 young lads with hair. What are you going to listen to? A dude that's bald? That doesn't mean that he's smart.
Is the mayoral race every year or like how?
4 years.
4 years. Is it this year?
Yeah, I think it might be this year. I don't know that works.
Because we should definitely run.
Should we just put our names in? I think you have to pay to put your name in.
It's probably not that much.
Dude, I feel like we would win. If we went door to door.
We couldn't do the job though.
No, we would have to drop out immediately.
Yeah.
We would get to office first day and we'd be like, well, this is fucking dumb, dude. I turn to the police department and be like, what's your budget? And they'd be like, it's 100 and we got we have $1.5 million a year. We're probably going to need a little bit more for those, for the body cameras. Do you think we could get that through? And I go, interesting. I'm like, your budget is now 0. And I just leave. We just leave.
If anybody asks for more, it goes down to 0. And we take the money and reconfigure it. We build the theater with the
They're like, why
police
are you wasting
budget?
all this money?
We could.
What's the big deal?
So yeah, that's the first announcement that we're going to run for mayor hopefully at this midterm election. One or both of us will be running for mayor this year.
What if we just say fuck it and we run for mayor? We run for mayor in those 2 big open spots like downtown. We just put a big ass casino there. We just say fuck it. There's a new casino. We put like a Hard Rock casino there.
That
just would ball out.
That would do so well for the downtown.
Dude, people would be like, dude, you know how many people would come here?
Oh yeah.
Instead of going to Potawatomi, they come here. Yeah. They'd be like, that city's way cooler. We're going to the fucking casino. There'd be a few probably nefarious things going on outside.
It'd be the Kenosha Casino with K's.
What if you did like a casino boat? Like does that apply to Lake Michigan?
Oh,
like how like on the Ozarks they do that?
Yeah, we
So
could do
cool.
that. We could get like a
Under
yeah.
the table. We
Because
did
then
a
we could
cut.
charge even more for entrance.
We tell them we'll let you build a casino at 2 points, and they're like, "What are you talking about?" We're like, "We get a point each," and they're like, "This isn't how this works." And it's like, "Yeah, but
There's a vig.
it's a good idea," and they're like, "That's why you're even talking to us." Listen, we could run for mayor.
We'll be more.
We could
Italian
either
than him.
run for mayor or finally release music.
Why not both?
That's a lot to ask. I have a full-time job, Bryce.
Yeah, do they pay you as mayor?
Yeah, you make like
We don't
80,000.
have to try
a year.
that hard to run for mayor. We could still run.
We take all my salary and just put it into the podcast. Both of ours. You take because there's like a vice president. Yeah, I don't care who
The
it
elections
is.
this year,
Vice
though.
mayor.
I don't care who wins.
Okay. Is there a fee, a running fee?
Well, the spring primary is on February 15th. So.
So we're a little late.
We're
Little
we're
late
cutting
to
it a
the
little
game.
close.
Yeah, but no one's running.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not very clear on here. I gotta do more research.
We could do it in a month. People be like, "What do you know who's running?"
Yeah.
We'd be the only people like, "Hey, come out here, listen." So let's talk. Let's announce it
Okay.
because it's coming.
Yep.
So big news. We
Mhm.
talked about big news on the podcast that we were going to talk about our new announcement, exciting things. We're releasing music.
Mm-hmm.
We have it planned. Most of it is done. We have a single coming out probably next month. I'm not going to say a name of it yet because I want to do like a whole promotional thing for it.
Of the single or of the group?
Of the single. No, we'll say the name of the group, the name of the single. We're going to
Mhm.
wait on it because we'll do a big announcement for that. We are making a new music collective. We have a lot of people involved. We have like 2 producers. We have like 3 singers. And we have like 5 performing artists, rappers and writers, and vocalists. I shouldn't even say rappers, just vocalists. Vocalists, right?
3 of them, 2 to 3 of them are writers,
Right.
in a sense.
And we're going to hire the same people that do the podcast to do the music videos for them,
Mhm.
which we're going to do 2 for. Oh my God.
Yeah,
2
for an
music
album
videos.
that will be dropping this year,
This year.
in the first half of this year.
Yes, probably in spring,
Mhm.
we're thinking. But the group is going to be called Cult for Sale. That is the name of the group. And we like the name Cult for Sale because it makes sense as a collective.
Because cults are coming back.
Because cults are coming back in a new wave. And also,
I
it
used to be in a
sounds
cult.
cool. Cult for Sale with a 4 and nothing at the end. No explanation point because that'd be cringe. And when you hear the music that we're making, we're doing like, we're doing kind of fun stuff. We're gonna be like kind of party stuff, dancing.
Mhm.
We're gonna be dancing. There's gonna be some bangers. There's some bangers on it. There, even
3 or 4. 3 or
the
4.
long songs on it are good.
Some
There's gonna be
two-parters.
some banger singers on it. And we're just keep going.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep spinning that thing. So it's very exciting. This year's gonna be really big for that, I think, because we have a lot of people involved, a lot of support. I think a lot of people from the last band that we're in are excited to see what we do again. And I think this is such a change for people that they're gonna be thoroughly impressed. The music sounds very good.
Mhm.
I'm not tooting my own horn, but it does feel like the best music that we've ever made. And it
Mhm.
feels good as people who have been doing this for 5 years, making
Yeah.
music, to be at a point where we're like, I'm proud of this thing.
Right.
It's to the point where like, there's so much when you make music that when you show people, you feel a little embarrassed because it's a very,
It's a very trial and error kind of process, even when you release it.
also it's very, what's the word?
Vulnerable.
Vulnerable. Thank you. You're
Yeah.
very vulnerable through it. So
Mhm.
this music, everything I show, I was showing 2 people who've been on the podcast before, 2 people I really respect. And the first time I showed them, I was really nervous. I was like, damn, what are these guys going to think? I remember them sitting there and they were like, this is fucking good. And I was like, awesome. They were like thoroughly impressed because they've never heard me and you make music. They've heard you make music like it, but they've never heard me make music like it. And they were like, fuck yeah. And it was just the instrumentals at the time.
Mhm.
And now it's like everybody I show with like the vocals and stuff now, people are always like, damn, dude. They're like, the other day we were showing one of our we were showing Eric, another guy who edits for us. Love him. But I was showing him the single that's going to be coming out. And even he was like, I am impressed. And that was nice to hear because it's just like we're getting to that point And the music video is going to be really cool for it. And this first single, I'm not going to say, but there is a guest on it who's in the group, but it's going to be exciting to see him on it.
You all know him.
You all know him. And the 3 singers that we have, all 3 of them are very good.
Oh, yeah.
Very good. And it's just super exciting we'll be able to do shows. We're going to do a release party. But, my hope is that I have kind of a feeling that the music is probably going to grow faster than the podcast a little bit. Podcasts this has proven to be very hard to grow. I think it's just because with long form videos are not, they're but they're hard to get everybody into it. You got to really fight the short form battle. You got to go viral. And we try. I think the most views that we've had on a clip on Instagram was like 6,500, which is really good to have 6,500 eyes on one of our clips. And with help from That's the Beauty with Bryce and Eric, that's been amazing. And we're getting there. And I think with the music, it'll be nice because people are going to see that they're like, we make music, and they're going to listen to that, and they're going to go, oh, they also have a podcast, and come listen to that and be like, I want to hear what these guys have to say. And also we'll have more people, the way that we do guests is probably going to change eventually. We'll probably have people who are in the group that we're buddy with,
right.
That we are comfortable with come on more.
We have a bigger plan for having more arms of that animal of podcasts,
and we'll see.
We'll see how that would play out. But also, I'm excited to to be able to with music, because when we were doing the band, that wasn't my usual style, but I tried to fit in with it, and eventually, it turned into what we're doing now, which is super electronic, almost entirely electronic.
Some guitar stuff.
Yeah, but it's been cool to see how much I appreciate integrating everything that I've learned into music. Right. I always knew that was the way I liked doing music, but it's hard to do that right when you don't know how to use recording software, how to use any equipment, and to do that well. And now that music has changed a lot since we started making music, and since we were, primarily making music in a band with multiple people, being able to just take what we have taken in as just ourselves and just make whatever we want, not having to consult so many people. I loved doing the band, but it's so much nicer just to have to consult with you and maybe one other person sometimes.
Right.
It's so much more. It's just, I feel like it cuts down on a conversation that is just too long-winded. Now we kind of just know what we both like and what we're thinking most of the time.
Right. And we have a lot of plans for it. So it's cool that all the songs are written, all the songs are recorded. Most of them need vocals, and then they got to be mixed and mastered. 2 of them need videos. One of them is pretty much 100% done, which is really awesome. And I think people are going to like it a lot. I know people are going to like it a lot. It's just one of those songs it's really catchy.
Gets in your ear.
Stuck in your head. The person that we have doing vocals on it is really good. Even the little verse in the center is good. It's just it's a good song. So it's exciting. The Cult for Sale, we'll talk more about it. We'll release more stuff. We got to we're getting all the designs and stuff together for it. And it's going to be really cool to see how that pans out, because it's about time that things are going to be a little different when it comes to that. And I think that people are going to, we know so many bands, and a lot of them respect us. A lot of them respect, especially because of the podcast. And they also respect the fact that Prophets in the Mirror, the old band that we did, was the first kids on the block for a long time. We were the only young band in Kenosha playing at some point. After this band called Dingus went into hiatus, Prophets in the Mirror was the only band. There was no one else. Because we looked for everybody else. Remember that?
Yeah, we're trying to find a goddamn drummer.
We looked for every single other band to play shows with. We couldn't find one in Kenosha. Our band stopped, and the next year there was 7 other bands. It was the weirdest thing. So it feels weird that and all those people that came out of it, they know us now, and they know about the podcast, and they respect the podcast, and now we know so many more people. Now that we're doing this new thing, a lot of them are excited for us to release stuff. The funny thing is that even when it comes to the rappers, the vocalists, and the musicians, Cult for Sale will probably be the most sticking out of the realm.
Around here.
It'll be very unique, a unique sound. A lot of people have heard on various songs on the radio or on Spotify, on the internet, but they haven't heard it come out of here. And I think the music does have a little bit of a Midwest twist to it, and has just with Jarod and I having written it, has a different feel to it. And I think people will really like it, because I think it will be a new taste for a lot of things. Because we mix like rap, old school hip hop, rock music, and like house music, and like hyperpop,
ambient, electronic, hyperpop. There's like 6 different genres.
We go all in because we just wanted to make
lo-fi hip hop
our stuff, and our.
That's what we know. We don't just know one thing at this point, which is good. Like, we're not great at everything yet, but we have the influence and the experience at this point to like try to make like this multi-armed genre.
And it's nice. It's like when people listen to it, they go like, this is your thing. And I was like, yeah, this is our thing. This is what we do. It is different because it's us, and it's not different in a bad way. It's different in a good way. It's like, I never really heard it done this way before. It's cool that you guys did it this way. It's cool that you guys took influences from this, and it's cool to hear that. And I'm just really excited for people to hear it, and I think it's going to be a big time coming. I think it's going to be a big deal this year.
We've been saying it for a while too. We've been since like the first guest with Jeremiah and Ethan around that time. We've been saying like what we really are trying to work on, and now we're about to put it out like in the next 3 months, 4 months. Like, it's so weird. Like, it's things, so much has evolved and changed in that time, and
we put a year of work in,
and we documented all of it that entire year.
We put a year of really hard work in, and like me, I remember telling a band, I said, yeah, me and Jarod have like 15 songs each that we're not using for the album. And I remember these 2 people I was talking about in this band, like their mouths dropped. They're like, what do you mean you have 15 songs you're not using? They're like, we can barely piece together 5. And it's like, I don't know, man. Just like, you have to just sit down and do the thing.
Yeah.
You have to just write the songs. And if you don't write, you're never going to get to that point. So that's why I feel like we've done like the work to finally be like, this song is fucking good and you're going to like it. And that's going to be cool. Where are we at time?
Got about 3 to 5 minutes.
Let's wrap it up then. Next week on the podcast, we're going to have our friend of the show, Case. He's the one who also helps us set up all the production. It's kind of not production, but he sets up the space that we do in the studio. He's a musician, producer. He's been doing his own thing for a very long time. Very interesting guy. Love him. A very lovable guy. Awesome to talk to him. Very excited. He is a character for sure. The shit that he wants to get into on the next podcast is really exciting, because he's going to be a guest who's going to bring up some topics that we never talk about, and he's so smart. He's so like integrated in all of it that he talks about, that he's into it and he's knowledgeable on it. So I'm really excited about that. He will also talk about him more in that podcast of why he's important to this group too. We'd like to give a shout out. This is season 2. Episode 51 kicking off 2022. We're gonna get the merch out there better. But that's available right now. The season 1 shirts that we're only doing for a little bit. There's people who want to buy them already, and we're just getting like a kind of enrollment in that
pre-sale
for that. Dude, I can never figure out the simplest words, and I substitute them for such dumb words.
Pre-enrollment.
Get
enrolled in our shirts and hats,
right,
and coffee mugs.
We
don't have those yet, do we?
No, we do. They're on the website. Okay. They're on the Redbubble. Yeah, so check that out. It's all in our link tree. We'd like to give a thanks to Kenosha again for supporting us, having the space here. We'd like to give a thanks to That's a Beauty Productions for helping us with the video editing and stuff. I hope you guys enjoy. We have 3 of the same cameras now, so the look of it's probably a lot better, upgraded. The set's new. We're coming in hot this year with some new shit. Me and Jarod got a fucking year of podcasting under our belt. Yep. Somebody the other day told me they listened to episode 20, and I'm like, you fucking idiot, why? I was like, thank you for listening to it, but those episodes are horrible. Like, listen to episode 1 of the podcast, and then listen to this episode and see how far we've really come with bits. actual conversation, like going into each part. It's so
the
hard.
biggest one, knowing where each other is going with anything,
Right.
has gotten so much more improved.
But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. We're upgrading. We're always trying to do better. Always trying to get out there. But yeah, check us out everywhere. Tipped and Stiff, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We're trying to get our reach out across all the social medias a little bit better. It's very hard to it's so micromanaging, but we're getting better. We're trying to get this website together. There's a lot of things, but it's all coming together. And the set will evolve over time. And you know what? You're gonna fucking like it.
And if you have any set pieces you'd like to send to us, hit us up and you can mail it to us. Just something fun or weird if you want it to be on the set. I think we should have that.
And if you if you can't send us any props, it's at Tipped and Stiff Podcast at Venmo.
Is that actually
$25? No, it's not.
It will be as soon as this episode stops airing.
Cade Alvarez. Yeah, just send it to me, and I'll spread it out. Just Venmo me.
I trust you.
At Cade Alvarez, it's a picture of me. At Venmo, $25. Just think about it as just a tax on the videos. You understand. We'll figure it out. All right. Love you, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.